Ladies and gentlemen, here's why you're wrong is back with your two favorite dummies sitting in the chair. Well, one dummy and a handsome-looking devil. Dummy, how you doing?
Oh man, I reacted at the
Uh,
wrong time. Why
how
can't
you
you
doing?
ever just be nice to me?
Because that wouldn't be here's why you're wrong. I have to save that for the insider crossover when I'm
I
semi-nice to
know,
you.
I know. It just hurts my feelings every time. It's okay, I'll live with it.
It's okay. Everyone gets their feelings hurt in eMLB, apparently.
Yes, they do. Yes, that is the one thing that is very true.
All right. So today we got something fun for you planned. Expansion draft is over. So we're going to go out and predict the standings based on where we are pre-free agency. All right? This is completely random, has zero bearing on anything whatsoever. This is fun. We will be ripping GMs, we will be ripping each other, we will be ripping teams, and we'll also be hyping each other up and hyping up teams as well. So there won't just be ripping, there will also be some hyping as well. We're going to sort of do this in a format where I'm going to say a team, Brenden will give his analysis, then I'll give mine, then he'll give a team and I'll give my analysis and he'll give his, and we'll just sort of go back and forth until all 30 teams are selected.
This seems like the exact kind of perfectly nonsensical nonsense that we get up to.
Oh, this is us. This is here's why you're wrong. So we've got all the teams based on the finish of last year's divisions. Stags and Expos at the bottom, just because when I was doing the standings, that's how they were in the standings already.
Gotcha.
So we're gonna have fun.
I think
You
we
ready to
will.
go?
I'm ready to go. You want to
You
go
want to
off? You
give
want
first
to
team
lead
or
us
you
off?
want me to?
You lead off.
You want me to lead us off? Let's go ahead and start with a team in the Mets.
The Mets. I'm gonna do last in the NL East.
And I'm going to be right there with you as well.
Since we're probably pretty close in agreement here, we'll keep it short. Um, I think that the Mets are in the early stages of a rebuild process here, and it might be a little rough go here the next couple seasons.
Sorry, I know that's a way. I just wanted to have that for
Yeah, I
time
know.
and
Yep.
date. So, ready? And you get blacked out. Goodbye, Mets. Yeah, I agree with you there. The injury to Yofran Escalona hurts them. They also just are not a very good team. And it's a very, very tough division, not because it's a good division, just because a lot of these bottom feeder teams are going to beat up on each other.
I would agree. I would agree with that. Yeah, I would agree. I would agree with that. And ultimately, when you're embarking on a rebuild process, finishing towards the bottom of the standings isn't the worst thing in the world for you. You can accrue some top draft picks, which is I think they're planning to go for this year.
Yeah. All right. Your turn to give a team. Let's
All right,
hear
we're
it.
gonna stay in the National League. And let's go Brewers.
The Breakery.
Yeah, Brew
The
Crew.
Breakery. They are looking at it here in the newly formed NL West. They are a fifth place team.
I'm gonna go with sixth place.
All right, let's hear some reasoning behind it.
Again,
I
I think
guess
I
I'll
think we're probably going to be pretty close here, so we need to probably pick a team that we're going to have some more contention on.
mhm.
I just the NL West is looking like it's going to be one of the two really tough divisions, and I think the toughest division, top to bottom.
Mhm.
You're going up against the Dodgers, the Giants, the Cardinals, the Cubs, and the Padres, who, by the way, two teams who won 100 games this last year, and four teams that were in the playoffs, and one team that was a game away from being in the playoffs. The Brewers look like the odd man out of the top six, especially after losing DMAC. They've got a lot of really good prospects up and coming, but I don't think that this year is going to be their year.
I can respect that, but I think too I don't know, and we'll get into this when we talk some of the other teams. I feel like, however, the Brewers, I always count them out every year. It's like, oh, it looks like they haven't made any improvements and they've just gotten worse, yet somehow always find their way around the, 10, 5 to 10 games above 500, sneaking into a wild card spot here and there. They're the eMLB version of like they are what the real life Tampa Bay Rays are. Everyone counts them out every year because they go, "What are you doing?" and then Jay Hill finds a way to make his team finish in a playoff spot.
They are consistently just barely above 500, which is a strong mark for a team, especially in the division they've been playing in over the last couple of years.
For sure. All right, let's pump it out. Let's move over and let's go with Le Kansas City Royals.
Ooh, Royals. 7th in the AL West.
7th in the AL West. All right. I got them finishing 6th in the AL West.
Why do you have what you give your thoughts first here this time?
Yeah, so my thoughts is that they would be 7th or 8th in any other division, but the fact of the matter is they have the Oakland Athletics and the expansion Portland Stags in their division. They're not a good team. They're a young team. They're a rebuilding team. Very similar to the Mets in the NL East. They're a bad team though. They're
Right
going
now,
to finish they're going to finish 20 to 30 games under 500 and they are going to struggle this year in a very, very tough AL and a very, very tough AL West.
Although I'm really excited to see the emergence of several of the prospects they got in the Jorge Barbosa deal. I think Dominique Dart could be a consistent 35 home run hitter, even in Kaufman, which is a very much a pitcher's park.
Yeah, and they're basically giving Corbin Co the keys to Kansas City, and hopefully he can turn into that ace that Barbosa was for them.
Oh, I think he will be.
All right, your turn.
All right, let's go with the Nationals.
Los Nacionals. All right, I got them finishing in the NL East. I've got them finishing 4th.
4th, okay. I've actually got the Nationals finishing 5th.
5th, okay. So right around the same spot.
Yeah, but I think that the Nationals are just going to continue their slide. I think that there is a rot somewhere in there, and I'm not sure what it is. I don't think it's a bad team. I just really don't see them being very far over 500, or I think they're around 500, give or take a couple games, and not much better than that.
I struggle to see this team has so many superstars on it, has so many guys on it that are good, but they just never seem to click together. Like they did on that World Series run, obviously, but since then they struggled. And I don't know if it's a season hangover. But I look at the other teams in the NL, I look at the other teams in the NL East that we'll get to here, and I feel like the Nationals have sort of stayed stagnant, where all the other teams have made improvements and continue to improve and continue to improve. You can't ride the coat Juan Soto and Diggs for the rest of your life. You're gonna have to continue to find talent, and where they have superstars, the other, 15 to 17 guys on their roster are below average.
Well, it's going to continue to be a great offense. I mean, last year they were 3rd in OPS. The problem has been, and the problem will continue to be the pitching staff.
Mm-hmm.
They've got a really super talented young rookie coming up, and Kaizo Narita, who's been a top prospect for a long time. That'll help out the rotation. They've got talent. I just feel like this team is a couple years away from being able to once again challenge for World Series.
I like it. All right, let's go ahead and move on to the next one. I'm gonna keep it, relatively easy. I will say. We've gotten a lot in the National League. I'd like to hop over to the American League. Let's go ahead and talk the New York Yankees.
Yankees, I can see them finishing, let's say 5th in the American League East.
Okay. I've got them. I did a little more research, did a little more digging. I've got them finishing 7th in the AL.
I don't think that you could put them that low. I mean, don't get me wrong.
I think I might be overvaluing some of the other teams that are coming over from the AL Central, and that's completely fair. And again, these ratings have no bearing on anything. But at the same time, I feel like the Yankees have lost more talent. Yes, they shed money, and Pete's coming out here. I don't know what the heck he's got tricks up his sleeve. But as of right now, we're talking about as the teams as of this current second lost a lot of talent, and I'm going to be interested to see whether some of these prospects can recoup whether they make some trades to recoup some value, whether they sign some free agents and be, bombers, open up the paycheck. But as of right now, they're just not a good team.
They're not a great team, but I think that they are a 77 win team. And I think the bottom of the AL East, like the bottom two teams, are going to be among the worst teams in the league next year. And I don't mean that as an insult to the two teams that they are. I just feel like the division's very top heavy and they're going to beat down. So the Yankees should be a second division team, but they're not terrible.
Mhm. All right, give us another team.
All right, let's do White Sox.
The Chicago White Sox. I've got them as trying to go here to my notes to take a look here. I've got them finishing as the fifth place team.
Well, I've got them finishing as fourth.
Fourth. Okay.
And the reason I got them finishing fourth is I think the White Sox are a very solid team that got better by adding Austin Meadows. However, I really don't like giving up one of your more consistent pitchers, a guy who, despite not overwhelming anybody, has posted ERA under 3 each of the last 2 seasons.
And it's been a top 3 Cy Young voter in the past 2 seasons as well.
I don't fully agree with that, but Austin Meadows is a very, very, very good hitter, and there are other good pitchers on the roster. I think the White Sox are going to once again be challenging for a wild card spot type team.
I like it. All right, let's go ahead and move back over to the National League. I want to hit up the National League West a little more. Let's go ahead and go with the Colorado Rockies.
Last.
Yeah, I don't think there's any surprise there. They are in a how do we phrase it? Competitively retooling.
Yeah, I mean, building up a good organization with the Rockies is just so tough. It's not a job I would want for myself.
But you know what? Mike T over in Colorado has already taken the first steps. Got rid of that Seiya Suzuki money and got some really good prospects in return in that deal. And
he made really two big trades with the Astros and brought back a ton of top prospects.
He got a ton of value. So I think in the next 2 to 3 years, we're going to be talking about the Rockies. But I think right now they still are, 2 to 3 years away. I think another 1 or 2 good drafts, build a little more through trade and maybe a free agent here and there to add some veteran presence. This team could be really good in a few years.
I would 100% agree with that.
All right, go ahead. Your turn.
Let's go back to your old stomping grounds. Where do you think the Braves are going to finish?
The Braves, I love it. I've got them as a third player in the NL East.
Well, what a coincidence. I also have them at third.
I think that we saw a second half, and you know what? I'm going to give credit to Kenny as much as I hate giving credit away from what I did. Kenny is a better GM for Atlanta than I was for Atlanta. That's not saying I didn't care. That's also saying that this was my first online league and me taking over and still learning the game. But Kenny is getting a good value out of these players. Some of the guys he let go in this expansion draft may they're in question, especially on the pitching side of things, which has been their weakness for years. Justin Gibbs, Corbin Klaus, Gabriel Rodriguez, some of those names. However, I still think this Braves team has a lot. They re-signed Freddie Freeman. They've got some good young pitchers in their minor leagues still. That I think, in probably what will be considered the weakest division in baseball, they're still going to finish above 500 and potentially challenge for a wild card.
I view every team in the top 3, maybe even 4 in the NL West or NL East, and maybe even honestly 5 of the Nationals as being roughly in lockstep with each other this year. I think that this division is going to see like the top 4 or 5 teams all be within 8 games of each other by the end.
All right, let's head over to the AL West. Let's go with Oakland.
This division really is probably the easiest one to rank, but I am going to surprise you, and I'm going to put them at 5th.
5th? Wow, okay. Mind you, this is rankings as of right now. Today is Wednesday, January 25th. Oakland does not have a manager.
Oakland does not have a GM, and I am basing this off of assuming the AI ran everything. Assuming the AI was running the team right now, I think that this team is going to start the year bad, and once their prospects start reaching the majors, which they will, and that's just inevitable, the team will improve over the second half and finish above the bottom 3 teams in the division. There's a clear top, bottom, and I think the A's are going to finish like right in between those 2 groups.
I get that. For me, they're just a bad team. They're still bad.
Oh yeah.
But I think as these prospects develop, they'll get better. I just don't know that this is their year. I think when we look ahead to 2028, that's when we start to see them climb up. I still think they're a year away. Where the Rockies are 2 or 3 years away, Oakland's 1 to 2.
I'm not saying that the team's going to be good. I'm saying that like late July, that's when all these guys are going to be making their steps up.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense. All right, your turn. Your pick.
Let's go Tigers.
Let's
talk about a new GM.
All right, where should I put them? I hate to do this, and I'm going to shock some people. 8th.
Also 8th. I think the narrative going into last year and continuing through most of the year is that these Tigers are a really good team that just were having some bad luck. I don't think that. I think that the Tigers were a team that overperformed in a bad division and then got called out for it last year. And then going into this year, facing off against 2 teams that were, very competitive, and the White Sox and the Indians and the Twins for most of the year, they got exposed. And their new GM is doing a really good job. He's traded off a couple pieces, bringing back some value, and he's trying to stick with what they got. And they do have some solid building blocks for the future. But I just do not think that the new AL East is a good environment for this team. I think they're gonna suffer this next year.
I think they're gonna sell off some of those pieces. Your Kyber Ruiz's, your Shane Boz's, your Framber Valdez's.
Those aren't the pieces I mean. They've
got
I
know, but I'm saying you're going to sell off. Those are your guys who right now are the superstars of the team, and those guys are going to get sold off at the deadline to some of these teams probably in the AL who are towards the top.
I would agree.
I think that's where you have to have them. All right, my turn to hop into it. Let's go ahead and go with the Los Angeles Angels.
First.
I've switched this around. I'm going to go second.
Okay. Same reasoning, I'm assuming, as how everyone viewed this last season.
Look, I can't, and we'll talk about this. Let's just how about you pick Houston since we're right there with it? I've got them finishing 1. I assume you got them finishing 2.
Yes.
Look, here's my logic. Here's my logic, and it's the same logic I used last year when we were talking about teams and ranking them prior to the season starting. They're the defending world champions. I can't bet against them when all I've seen is them get stronger. They've made moves and gotten stronger.
Absolutely. Have the Angels gotten any weaker, though?
No, both of these teams have gotten stronger. Just based on what I've seen, these are 2 100-win teams. I can't bet against the world champion.
And I'm going to make a hot take right now that next year, not a single team from this division finishes with 100 wins.
Oh, I agree with that.
But 4 finish with over 90.
Oh, I can agree with that for sure. All right, so I guess technically it goes back to my pick.
Yeah, we need to stop agreeing.
We are agreeing in some stuff, but I feel like some stuff we just it's part of the fun. Let's go ahead and go with an expansion team in the Montreal Expos.
All right, Montreal, 7th.
Okay, I've got them finishing 5th.
Okay.
Why
do you think that they're going to finish that ahead? Like that high up?
So I really love what they did in the expansion draft.
Me too.
I think they took a lot of good players. I also think that GT knows what he's doing behind the scenes, more so than maybe potentially the Stags GM and Attica. I think GT will know how to sign some minor league free agents, get the most out of them, sign some big league free agents with the budget he has left, flip some of them at the deadline if they're getting there. And I also think that he has the luxury of playing in a weak division with some of these other teams that are not as strong, that he's going to, play really well. And we could see them finish, anywhere from 10 games under 500 to potentially 5 to 10 games over 500.
What? For a debut season? You know that not as the best record ever by an expansion team is like 72 wins.
You're
Like
right, but this is a different animal. This league is a different animal, and I also think that there's a certain part to put
is it
in
a
it
different
until
animal?
I see the moves. And also, these other teams in this division that I have underneath them are not good.
Okay,
The teams
I
underneath
don't
them are
I
not
don't I
good.
don't dispute you. I do not dispute you that GT walked away from the draft looking really good towards his future. I do not dispute you that GT, as an experienced GM, is set up more for success than his counterpart. But, and big, big, big but, they are an expansion team and they are extremely talent poor. They did a good job of getting the talent they could, but they do not have a lot to work with right now. I like what they have going on. I think that they're going to be competitive very early, even as soon as next year. But this team is going to be a 70-win team at best.
I just think they're better than what you're giving them credit for because you're it off a history of real life MLB, and this is a computer
No, I'm
game.
basing it
That
off the
at some
talent
point,
level on the team.
I
Everyone
look
goes,
at the team
wow,
and I
look at the
see them
players they
better
got. They're so
than.
talented. Every team in this league is talented. The talent level of this league is higher than a normal out of the park league.
No, I get that, but this team does have talent, and compared to the other two teams that I'm going to have underneath them, this team, in my opinion, is better than those two teams. And I also love what GT is as a manager. That we also have to look and we see what teams with an absent manager or with a manager who doesn't exactly know the game, and then we see what teams do who don't exactly have the best talent level for the league, like compared to the rest of the league. Yet with good managers, get the most out of their players.
Okay, I would agree with that. I would agree with that. But in order to be taking advantage of that, they usually have to get some wins against other managers who are maybe less into it. Is there a manager in the NL East that you would view as absentee or like more hands off? That like that you're thinking that they're going to take advantage of this year? Tell you what.
I could.
I'll throw my next team out there, and we can further answer this question.
Okay.
Okay. Pirates.
They're good for a sixth place finish. I'm
Good
kidding. They're
God.
good for a seventh place finish.
Second.
What the?
And that's why I said let's put this next team out here so we can finish this discussion.
Huh?
Why do you, okay? At some point in time, that wave of talent is going to hit the league like a tsunami, and I think it's this year.
Until they prove something to me, I believe in nothing. I believe that this team will do nothing and will continue to do nothing until this team proves it to me. We've been talking for years. I mean, for years in this Discord. Oh, the Pirates, this is their time to break out. This is their time to break out. It's been 4 seasons. They've never broken out. I
Yes,
don't see
in
them breaking out.
2024 they won the division with like 90
Okay.
something wins, dude. That right there is a breakout, ain't it? Don't get
Okay,
me wrong.
fine.
Two
2025,
incredibly
2020.
disappointing losing seasons in a row is a stain on that franchise. But this
It's a
is
stain on them. It's a stain on that franchise. And compared to the other teams that I have in this, that are in this team, I don't see Cody breaking out. I don't, and this is no slide to Cody, but since I've become a GM in this league and even as a CCP in this league, he has shown me nothing to show me that he knows how to use this team. In my opinion, he tries to rely too much on talent and doesn't have the strategy to be able to win. And that's why he falters so much in the NL Central, which was a good division. And that's why he's going to falter even more with GMs who are just frankly better at strategy than him.
Damn. All right, I'm looking forward to this Tampa Bay Pittsburgh game of the night. We have to get this year then.
Oh, for sure.
Because them's fighting words.
Look, and I said as a disclaimer, I'm gonna say stuff. I'm gonna rip GMs. And you know what? I love Cody as a person. Him and I share a lot of the same views on stuff within the league. Him and I consider him a good friend. I consider him a great GM when it comes to trading. However, I don't think he knows, or I don't think the strategy he tries to implement in this league specifically works for him and gets the most team he has.
I think he is 100% perfectly knowledgeable in what he's doing. I think he has a strong organizational philosophy and a strong organizational plan. And I think that plan is going to pay off this year. He's taking it on the chin for 2 seasons. He's going to finally get to start finally get to start punching back.
That's fair. Let's go ahead and pop over to the NL West. Oh,
You just deleted a team. There you
yeah, my bad. Let's go Los Gigantes de San Francisco.
go. I like using the Spanish here.
This NL West top 5 is so
First.
hard to rank.
First.
Fourth.
What? They've only gotten better.
I agree, but the other 3 teams above them have done just this.
I agree, but I'm not going to bet against that rotation. And now the
No,
offense is
no,
adding talent.
and I completely understand that. And look, for me, the top 4 in the NL West is a crapshoot. The top 4 in the NL West, I could put any one of the top 4 teams that I'm going to have in this at the 1 spot,
And
and
you
I
would be
don't think you'd
justified.
see many people arguing.
And you would be justified, yes. But I don't think
Look,
the Giants
I'm
are
going
going
to
to
say
be able to
the
finish
Padres
out.
have made moves, the Cubs have made moves, the Dodgers have made moves. Every team has made moves. Yes, that top 3 in the rotation scares me in San Francisco, but the other 2 sort of shaky. The bullpen was great last year in the second half with Cunha, but are they going to be able to continue and maintain that success? The offense, scary as heck. Don't get me wrong. However, I don't know what this team is going to bring compared to the other. And now you also add on top of that the Brewers and the Cardinals in this division, on top of the Cubs, on top of the Padres, on top of the Dodgers, on top of the even on top of the D-backs and the Rockies, who are good teams, or not good teams, but always give a dogfight. I just the top 4 to me is a coin flip, and until the Giants prove to me they faltered towards the end of last season when the Dodgers got hot, until they prove to me what they are, I don't know.
I can respect that argument. I can respect it completely. I've been in this league now for a year and a half. And for most of that time, Mike has been a very patient and passive GM. He's watched and waited. He's developed his talent. And by pulling off that Kirilloff trade, I am afraid of what this man can do. I'm afraid of what an aggressive San Francisco team is going to do. I think that they're going to go into this offseason and get lots better.
Yeah.
All right. You picked Giants, right?
Yeah.
All right, it's my turn. Let's go ahead and flip it back to the AL West, and let's knock out another easy team. Let's do it with the Stags.
Stags, for me, they're a 7th place.
I got them in last.
That's fair. I think for you and I, the reason we have them finishing 7th and 8th, respectively, is the same exact reasoning.
Yeah. They're an expansion team again in the AL West with 4 teams who we both agree are going to be 90 win teams this year. Or at least have
I
a good
also
chance to be.
think that Attica will take some of this major league talent that's higher salary that he drafted and do the smart flip it for prospects.
Yes.
So I think he'll weaken his team a little bit, but smart for the next, for 2 to 3 years from now, he'll start to try and climb his way up.
With the 2 expansion teams, you can really compare them to the two 1997 expansion teams.
Mm-hmm.
In this case, Montreal is Arizona, where they are they are in a good position to be aggressive, for years 2, 3, and 4. And the Stags are Tampa Bay, where frankly they play in a really tough environment, and the best thing that they can do as an organization is be patient and wait for the team to wait to build it the right way.
You know what, Brennan? I'd like to make an adjustment to something.
What's that?
I looked at something and I need to make an adjustment.
What's that?
I need to move the Royals up a spot. It will all be revealed later.
Okay.
I just looked at something and I realized I would like to move the Royals up 1 spot.
Why?
You'll see. You'll see.
All right, it's my choice, right?
No, it's mine.
Stags, your choice.
You just went Stags. Boston Red Sox.
6th. So I think you and I both agree here that they're going to take a step back. We disagree on the scale. I
I don't
think
think as much as I don't think as much as we disagree on the scale. I just think that all these other teams below them may be taking a step back as well.
I get the desire to add a strong pitching prospect. I absolutely, in no world whatsoever, understand the Rafael Devers trade.
Oh, I don't either. That trade. Don't get me wrong. Special Dwarf, we love you. We respect you.
You scare me.
But what
Your
were
offense
you
scares me.
thinking? But what were you thinking with that trade?
Pepe
You got
Clark is an
fleeced.
awesome
got
talent,
fleeced.
but has not shown it for a while now. Luis Serna is a very good prospect, but it is a okay, like good but not exceptional pitching prospect. I don't think you can be so aggressive and so desperate to add pitchers that you completely sacrifice one of the best hitters in the American League, period.
I can completely agree with that. And I don't think that Pepe Clark is going to give you that same, how do you call it?
Not even close.
I don't think Pepe Clark is going to give you that same offensive production that you got from Devers. I mean, Devers won a Triple Crown. Like, let's not sit here and say he's not a good hitter.
Oh,
Mind
no
you,
one was
he is
saying he
only,
wasn't a good
hold
hitter.
on. Mind you, he is only a DH. So how much value do you get out of a DH? That was an argument when MVP voting was going on.
Mm-hmm. But now the discussion is not overall value. The discussion is your contributions to the plate, because Pepe Clark is either going to be the first base or DH. So it's apples to apples here. And Rafael Devers is this perfect Honeycrisp, okay? And Pepe Clark is he's Granny Smith.
He's a Granny Smith.
He's a Granny Smith.
He's, some people love him.
Sweet.
Everyone loves a Granny Smith. But it's not that crisp Honeycrisp. You grab that Honeycrisp first out of the fridge.
Yes, you do.
That's fair. All right, I picked the Red Sox. Your turn.
Let's lock on another easy one. Let's go D-backs.
D-backs. I think we both got them finishing in the same spot.
We do. Tim, I love you,
Again,
but your job's going to be really hard.
Tim, we love you. You know that. We have so much love for you. You're 2 to 3 years away, but you're starting to do the right things. The Dionini, I don't exactly know how to pronounce his last name, the trade you made with me, where you added 2 prospects for a backup catcher, great move. If you can continue to do moves like that, get talent the way you're doing it, you've got a great player in Aaron Cross to build around. You've got some great pieces. I love the Tyler Glass now re-signing for you. You're there. You just need a year or two.
And
I'll be interested to see what his strategy looks like, because I've never seen Tim get a full season as a GM at the helm. And I personally believe a lot of this game has to do with how you set your strategy as the GM. So I'll be interested to see what that does for him this year.
I would argue that more of the game is your organizational philosophy and that strategy used to approach everything, but it's not like the in-game stuff. And that's what I'm more eager to see. I'm more eager to see what kind of players he pursues in the draft, how he is in trade negotiations, what free agents his team adds. That's what I'm eager to see.
I love it. All right. Let's go ahead and do the St. Louis Cardinals.
I've got a choice to make here.
Yeah,
I
you do.
rode the St. Louis bandwagon hard.
Where did that lead you?
Hard into the dirt. And I've got a choice here. I can either double down on my boy Andrew, or I can go with my gut here. And I'm going to double down. St. Louis Cardinals are going to finish 4th. And it'll be a double down here. And I'll tell you, let me go ahead and give you my team so that way I can tell you why.
I'm just going to put them in 6th here. That way you see.
Okay. I'm going to tell you why. Cubs 5th.
Huh?
Put it on the board and then we'll talk. See, I'm going to amend what you said earlier, where the top 4 teams can all be alternated between. I don't think that. I think the top 3 teams can all be switched between, and then 4 and 5 are a flip. And I think that the Cubs are going to get absolutely shelled in this division. They're going to do some shelling of their own. I think each of the top 5 teams finishes, solidly above 500. But I think that the Cubs are going to that pitching staff is going to get hammered by some of the elite lineups in this division. Like I said, they'll do some of the hammering themselves, but I think that I don't see them as one of the top 3 teams in this division. And picking between them and the Cardinals, why not go Cardinals ahead of them?
So you're just blatantly wrong. I hope you know that.
Okay.
You're blatantly wrong. This Cardinals team has taken a step back, in my opinion. Even though they're, huh? Hold on. Would you let me finish my sentence before? I didn't cut you off. Don't cut me off now. Hold on. In the immortal words of Pat McAfee, settle down, settle down. But in my opinion, it's not as much of the Cardinals taking a step back by losing talent. It's just, I feel like, again, like we're talking about, the teams above them have made moves. The Cubs may have not have made a move, but Danny Smith and Ken Herbeck and all these players that they have in Chicago over this Cardinals team. I think that Jake is going to make some move for some pitching here. I think with this, it's a very pitching heavy free agent market. I think Jake is going to take advantage of it. I would not be shocked if Chicago is where Andrew James ends up, because we've seen that Jake is not afraid to open the wallet.
Oh, well, so we'll see how well that pays off for him.
Yeah, I know. That's a whole nother conversation that we can have.
It is.
But I think that this team with Jake, I think he's going to add some pitching. And as of right now, I love what this team is. And I think they're just better than the Cardinals. The Cardinals, to me, are a 6th place team. I think the Brewers are going to surprise people. I think the Cardinals are going to take a step back this year in a very tough NL West, just because they're going to crumble under the pressure.
That's entirely fair. And I guess we'll have to wait and see till next year.
All right, so I guess it goes back to my pick.
It does go back to your pick. Actually, I think, yeah, it goes back to your pick.
Toronto.
7th.
I've got them
Just
as a
kidding,
6th.
baby, they're 1st. Okay, yeah, I actually meant 7th.
Let's not.
Danny Kelly, Dancing Man's going to go off for an MVP season.
I've got a hot take about the MVP if you want to hear it.
Let's hear it. Sorry, Harris, we're going to co-opt your segment.
Jordan Cage finishes as the top 3 MVP voter this year in the AL.
Whoa, okay, not sorry, Harris. We're actually doing your segment. I don't. That's not a horrible take. That's not a horrible take at all.
Vegas likes it. Book it.
I think the Blue Jays are taking steps in the right direction. They're taking a lot of steps in the right direction. They're just not there yet.
I think next year we're going to be talking about the Blue Jays as one of the teams at the top 4 in the AL East. Whereas this year they're working towards it. And I think Harris is going to make some more moves in this offseason as well as at the deadline, get rid of some of these older aging contracts, bring in some more young talent. And then we're going to be talking about them up there with the likes of the Orioles, the Indians, and the Rays in 2 years, in next year or in 2 years, as the top 4 teams. The top 4 teams in the AL East can rival the top 4 teams in any division in the next year to 2 years.
Awesome. I like that. And I want that for this team.
AL East is a juggernaut.
Yes, it is. And it'll be the most fun division in the league.
Just because all of us love each other, but we also love to talk crap with each other.
I would argue that the AL East is going to become the premier talking division.
Oh, for sure. I'll
And,
take that.
and
I'll
let
take
me
that bet
document
all
that
day
time
long.
for Andrew.
Yeah. Yeah. Just document that for him. Yeah. All right. Teams are dwindling down. It's your pick.
Got to put that timestamp in so he can char money me.
Well worth. Well deserved. Well deserved char buddy. I endorse that char buddy.
Let's go Rangers.
Rangers?
Yeah.
Rangers.
Rangers.
All right. I think they're going to take a step forward. I've got them in third.
What? All right, I got them in fourth, but look, I know, it's hard to call things ahead of time. It's hard to call things ahead of time when you got to take a couple out there guesses because you can't predict everything, so you got to try and get ahead of it. But I feel like the AL West has a clear top three.
You really think so?
The Mariners just added Rafael Devers and they got all ends of the trade made them better.
I agree, but at the same time, and I just think the Rangers underperformed so heavily last year. They've got so much young and loaded talent that I'm just waiting to see what happens. And I wanted to be different and make a splash somewhere. And here's the place where I chose to do it.
That's fair. Like I said, you got to get ahead of you got to get ahead of some areas and try to get your out there picks.
Yeah.
So
all right,
I'll endorse it. I noticed
how
we've both been leaving a void, and I'm going to continue to leave that void there.
Hey, it's my pick.
You just did Rangers, didn't you?
No, you did the Rangers.
Oh, whoops. Sorry.
Way down yonder on Cincinnati, I've got them finishing as the first place team in the NL East. I'm sipping the JR Kool-Aid.
All right, well, I'm sorry, but that JR Kool-Aid is laced with poison, and I'm putting them at fourth. Look. Big Red Machine. Yeah. Sexiest GM. Yeah. But that pitching staff in that stadium. Ugh.
I can tell you JR is actively making strides to improve it. I think he will make strides to improve it. And behind Trey Griffey and Edgar Barrios, in probably what's the weakest division eMLB.
I told you I feel like all the top 5 teams in this division are going to be within 8 games of each other. I think the Reds are in it, but I do not think the Reds have enough tools to really make a difference in it, no matter how good the team is right now. There's a lot of good pieces there. It's just not all the way there.
Okay, I can respect it. Your pick.
Los Doyers.
Los Doyers. Los Doyers, second place in the NL West.
I've got them in third. You want to go first here?
I mean, I guess I can. I mean, they're a really good team, made a step forward getting LaRon Smith. They continue to improve every year. They got some salary off their books with the Blake Snell leaving, with Corey Seager, Cody Bellinger. Who knows what else they're going to pull a rabbit out of their hat. Chris is scary. This team is good.
Yep, Chris is a goddamn snake. He is a shark. He's just circling underneath all the other GMs, waiting to come up and get us. I like the steps that they're taking as an organization. I just don't like them more than. Screw it. You want to go ahead and fill the Padres in?
Yeah,
I just don't like them more than the Padres and the Giants.
I just don't like the Dodgers more than the Padres because Steve Kim is an absolute freaking wizard.
Yeah, the Kim Diego Kims are going to be the one of the best teams in the league again, and well deserved.
Do you want to round out the NL East while we're here? Let's just round out the NL.
Yeah, let's go ahead. Phillies at 1.
Phillies at 1. I've got them at 2.
Marlins at 6.
We both have the Finns at 6.
Part of me really wanted to put them higher. Part of me really wanted to put them higher because the Marlins are due for just a crazy, stupid breakout season eventually. I just don't think it's here yet.
I don't think it's here yet.
And the Phillies, it's all about that fun differential with 2 PHs.
2 PHs.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Let's round out the AL West, and then we'll do our 3 teams at the top of the AL East, shall we?
Sounds good to me.
Let's go ahead and start with Minnesota.
Also 6.
I'm just gonna,
And then we can just go ahead and fill the Mariners in.
yeah.
I think that Minnesota is kicking off a rebuild, but they're not as talent poor as the Royals and the Stags in my mind. Like I said, it's going to be a bit of a slog, probably rebuilding in that division. I think that they're going to be among the losingest teams in the league this year, but there's a lot of hope for the future. On the Mariners side, they're going to combine an awesome pitching staff from last year with Rafael Devers, making the Mariners Mafia hopefully finally a fully deadly unit, because Eric Kelly and Pedro Serrano have needed a friend. Also Joe Adell.
That Mariners team is going to be really good. And like I said, I just wanted to be different with the Rangers. These top 4 teams, I could see any one of them at the top of this division.
Me too.
All right. So how do we want to do this? We'll say 3rd place, and then we'll go 2nd, and then we'll go 1st? Instead of picking teams?
How about this? We each say where the Indians are. The Gar Indians. And then we go with the other 2 teams.
All right, where you got them?
I got them too.
I as well have them too.
All right, can I make an educated guess?
Oh, I think we can both make
and say that our 1 and 3 are going to be flipped.
Yeah, let me plug it in now. And you know what? I'm not mad at it.
You know, listen, I try to avoid homering as much as I can for the Orioles.
Oh, I don't.
I try to, because I want to be at least a little unbiased in my reporting. The Indians are a great team. The Indians whooped our ass in the playoffs, and we're going to be coming for them. But you don't scare me.
All right. I'd like to pull up the stats, if I may.
Sure.
I'd like to pull up the stats, if I may. Hold on. Where do I find it here? Sorry. I found it the other day. And, here we go. So, Tampa Bay. Okay. Against Baltimore, 10-9. About 500.
Yeah.
Played 7 games against Cleveland, 5-2.
Mm-hmm.
Just basing it off of that, mind you, the games differential will go different. That's 15-11. Good above 500. If I can hold to a roughly 15, if I can go like 20-13 against you guys, I feel confident I can win this division, because I all think we're going to have
We'll have 12 games against each of our 7 division opponents.
So let me put it to you this way. If I can go against you guys, if we're going to have, you said how many? 12 games against each?
Mm-hmm.
If I can go 24, so that's 18-6, even as low as, 15-9, I think I can win this division. Because if we look at this division and we look at what it has, the top 3 teams, we all agree these are going to be the top 3. And I think anyone who's anyone would agree that these are the top 3. We're going to beat up on these bottom.
Unless, of course, you're the Red Sox.
Yeah. We're going to beat up on these bottom 5 teams, if you ask me. It's going to see how we fare against the other 2 teams. And I feel like just based off last year and based on what my team has done this year, what I've done in this offseason, I have the best chance to beat up on you 2 rather than you guys having a better chance to beat up on me.
You know what? I would love to continue the AL East supremacy that we got going on right here, also documenting that time.
Yeah, please do.
But I really don't think it's a top 3. I think it's a top 2.
And you're crazy.
And I think the Rays are the top of that middle tier. You talk about this division being 3 tiers, and I don't say this to start fights. I don't say this to insult your team. I do not think that your team put together is on the same level as the Indians and the Orioles.
Explain to me how, because you're making no sense right now.
Am I making no sense?
Hold on. The team who was the number 3 team in baseball after the All-Star break.
Correct. You had a great second half. You had an awesome second half. You went
Since I
18-7
took
in
over.
September. That is fantastic. Good job. And good job to your team. Aiden Pearson, star slugger. Fritz Flaherty, awful last year. Will he bounce back to where he can be? I don't know. Your first base situation, massive question mark. Jim Mayhall, great. You just traded away your best hitting outfielder in Meadows. Kelnick is a solid, just above average hitter. Alex Murray played great in limited time, but he's young and a rookie. Jeffrey Marte brings a toothpick to the plate, and Wander Franco has not been himself in 2 years. I think the lineup's talented, but not as strong as the top of the lineup with the other two teams. And then the pitching staff, losing Doc Luger really hurts. I love the Denny Martinez addition. And I think the pitching staff is going to be the team's strength. But that lineup just does not. It doesn't. Every team in this division has the top teams in this division have something that like stands out massively, and your pitching staff is it. But I don't think your pitching staff is enough to get you over the other two teams. Now I expect a retort.
I completely disagree with your assessment of my team.
I figured you would.
And don't get me wrong, Fritz freaking Flaherty, if I can get it out, did have a down year. No one's arguing that. Wander Franco, another down year. However, I think he also had a little bit of an injury problem this year, which caused him to be sidelined for a few games.
Yeah.
Whether that was lingering or anything like that, we shall remain to be seen. Jeffrey Marte had a down year compared to his 2025 and 2024. Alex Murray, limited play time, but had a really nice time and really good defensively. Ludi Pena is still a very viable option who could come in off the bench or play or start in left field. Jared Kelnick, a very solid and consistent option in the outfield.
Can you do
Jim
something for me
Mayhall,
real quick?
an all-star who's an absolute masher.
Can you do something for me real quick?
Yes.
And this is a positive thing. On my screen, can you please put a -X next to the Rays? Because I think you're a playoff team. I don't say this saying you're a bad team. I think
should we do what teams are going to be playoff teams then?
We absolutely should.
All right.
Let's go ahead and put the little -X. I don't say this to say that you're a bad team. In real baseball talk, by the way, because I have wanted to point this out. I think that Wander Franco did not have a down year. I mean, he had a little bit of a down year, but I think that Wander Franco is closer to who he really is. I do not think 2024 Wander Franco is the Wander Franco that we have. 2024 Wander Franco was an anomaly, an awesome anomaly, but an anomaly. If you look at his career, it's roughly in line with what he did this last year. Just a little bit.
That's fair. Sorry, I'm just going through, and as we're talking, just
you're doing the playoff teams. Like yes. I think the Rays are a playoff team. I think the Rays are a 5 or 6 seed wild card, finishing with high 80s wins.
You know what? I appreciate that because yesterday's recording, you were dogging me hard.
Yeah, because you did not look like you wanted to be recording, so
I did not yesterday.
Rise out of you. I wanted some emotion.
All right, so then I'm going to assume that means the Gar Indians as well get a wild
it'd be kind of weird for the third place team to make the playoffs, but not the second place.
So then I'm going to assume Astros and Mariners get the other two?
Yes.
All right. Give me just a second here. So I guess that means I have to now give my AL wild card.
Give me your wild cards.
Indians. Gar Indians. Halos. Uncares. The suspense.
Boy, the disrespect.
You get the wild card. Don't you worry.
I'm about to say, boy, that's some disrespect.
All right, NL, I'll go first. Ready?
Yeah.
Dodgers, wild card. Cubs, wild card. Giants, wild card. Phillies, Wild card. Brewers get the final spot.
No, you've already have final spots.
Oh,
Only 4 wild cards.
that's right. I'm a dumbass. My bad.
You can just go ahead and fill X's down the line in the NL West for me.
Gotcha.
I think all 4 wild cards in the National League come from the West.
I can see that. I wanted to give a little bit of a benefit of the doubt to give a little something to the fun differential out there.
That's fair.
Give a little something to the fun. So this is our pre-free agency standings. Tell us what you think about them down below. We'd love to hear from you. We'd love to hear what you think.
And tell us why we're wrong.
Exactly. All right, I'm going to take this off the screen. Brenden, you know what time it is and how we end off every episode?
The goodbye, and then we go back to bed?
Yeah, good try. Yeah, on the hot seat, my friend.
All right.
3 questions. I've got them ready. You ready?
I don't have any of mine ready, but let's go.
All right. What is going to be the Cubs team ERA this year?
4.5.
Okay. Over under for the Astros. 300 plus average hitters.
Over.
Okay.
Solidly over.
How many wins do the Phillies win the NL East with?
86.
All right. I like it.
What will be the Tampa Bay Rays record next year?
96 wins.
96 wins. Okay. Of every single team in the league, which one do you think will be the biggest disappointment? And I'm not saying has to miss the playoffs. I'm just saying does not hit what we think they're going to hit.
The St. Louis Cardinals.
St. Louis Cardinals. Okay. Yeah.
Actually, no. Well, it's either the Cardinals or, in my opinion, the Pirates, but you have them higher than I do, so it depends on whose view of a disappointment, because you can't be more disappointing than you already have, Cody.
Yeah,
I'm just feeling the rivalry.
God damn. All right. Will Danny Smith Jr. be making a 3rd God tier player for this year's draft?
Don't think it'll be God tier because of the new rules that are put in place, thanks to Kamish, of entering the draft. But if he doesn't go 1-1, I'd be absolutely shocked.
To Portland?
To Portland.
All right. I would agree with that.
Ladies and gentlemen, this has been another episode of Here's Why You're Wrong. You got 3 Char Bunnies from Brenden, none from me. It's a beautiful day. This was a fun episode. I like doing this.
I was careless today. I'm okay with it.
And you know what? It's great. Brenden, should we tell them what we have in the pipeline?
Let's do it. Let's give a teaser.
So, today, me and Brenden were shooting some things back and forth, and I showed him 2 of my ideas I'm having. One of them I announced in the Discord today. I am making World Baseball Classic rosters for all 20 of the teams that made it for this real-life year's World Baseball Classic. I'm going to be working on it, and I'm going to simulate it in a certain type of way, which more details will be coming out on that soon. That'll all happen in the Discord after the CCP Festival is done and over with, there by Tim Lowry, our Arizona Diamondbacks GM. However, the other thing we're doing is me and Brenden are each coming up with a top 20 for all the positions. Catcher, first, second, third, short, left, right, left, center, right. DHs are not included. We apologize because there aren't enough DH specialists.
And we're probably going to end up negotiating a few things here on specifics on how we're going to do this. Obviously, not everyone's going to play the same outfield position every day. They've got to have some overlap, but I think that this tier ranking format where we react to what the stupid decisions we each make is going to be a lot of fun. I think it'd be a good direction for us to take. Here's Why You're Wrong.
First episode that's going to come out, should be out either later this week or early next week, will be catchers. I've already finished my list. Brenden is working on his.
Well, he had, in fairness, you had your list finished when you proposed the idea.
Yeah, but I've made it more and cooler now. The graphic look of it, at least. So catchers will be first. We'll go catchers first, second, third, short, so on and so forth. When we get to rotations and bullpen, it'll be overall rotations and overall bullpen, the top 20 in eMLB. So stuff to look forward to on this offseason of Here's Why You're Wrong. We'll also always be talking about different trades that happen, how stupid other GMs are, how stupid each other are, But
We
how
need to do
great
that
our
more.
but how great our overlord FKN Kamish is with all the work he's done so far on the minor leagues, on every sort of thing he's done. We are not worthy, sir. You have done an amazing job. We are not worthy. I think that just about does it.
I think that does it.
So thank you so much. If you haven't already, make sure to like and subscribe here on YouTube. Also, make sure to follow FKN Kamish on uh, Twitter as well as Twitch. Make sure to check out hashtag eMLB on Twitter. Make sure to join the Discord. You're only getting a small portion of it here on YouTube. You get all the stories and everything fun like that on the Discord. It also will tell you how you can be eligible to create your own player to join the eMLB universe. And who knows, we could be talking about you on Here's Why You're Wrong one day, or one of our other amazing podcasts here on the show. For our producer and editor, Andrew, for Brennan and myself, Aiden, we thank you so much for watching, and tune in next time on another episode of Here's Why You're Wrong.